Hey, Ideal Protein Nation, let's go. I don't think I've ever been this excited for an episode of this podcast in the 3 years that we've been doing this. Today, I'm going to interview one of my first professional athletes ever. And it's super, super cool for me. So let's get on with this thing. Doc, stop talking already. We got to get to the good stuff. So for those of you who don't know about the Life Possible podcast, the Life Possible podcast is created to profile successful clients, coaches, and clinic owners who have used the Ideal Protein protocol to reset their body, reset their mind, and actually reset what's possible for their lives. You know, these individuals, they're pursuing goals and dreams that they thought were dead and gone. They're pursuing goals and dreams in some cases they never even knew they wanted to. In short, they're living a life that those of us in Ideal Protein Nation like to refer to as life possible. So who am I and why am I even doing this? Well, my name's Dr. John Barnes, and I'm a clinic owner at Reset Wellness in the Washington, D.C. area. But you know, I got to tell you, there's no easy way to say this, but back in 2015, I was fat, sick, and depressed. And what's worse is I didn't see a way out. But I truly believe that God brought me the Ideal Protein protocol as the answer to all of my prayers, both personally and professionally. Now, I live a life that I consider to be healthy, vibrant, and alive. I lost 65 pounds using this Ideal Protein protocol. And this is a picture of me in 2021 completing my first half Ironman distance triathlon. That's why I'm so passionate about this and why I created the Life Possible podcast. So who do we have with us today? We have Canadian Hall of Fame baseball player Jesse Barfield today. I've got to read his introduction because there are so many things and details that I don't want to miss. You have to understand what an incredible athlete this man is. He played for the Toronto Blue Jays from 1981 to 1989. In 1985, he was one of the first players for them to reach 20-20-20, which means 20 home runs, 20 steals, and 20 outfield assists in the same season. In 1986, his batting average was .289. He hit 40 home runs and was the home run champion of the major leagues. He was a Golden Gloves and Silver Slugger and named to the American League All-Star team. He played for the New York Yankees from 1989 to 1992. He played in Japan 114 games in 1993. And during spring training for the Houston Astros, he got injured and ended up shifting into coaching and front office duties. He went on in 1995 to be the hitting coach for the Seattle Mariners under Lou Piniella with Ken Griffey Jr. He spent 2 years color commentating for TV for the Toronto Blue Jays. But why Jesse is on the show today is because 6 years ago, Jesse used the Ideal Protein protocol to lose over 70 pounds. He has actually recently been back post-pandemic to work on some of that weight that he found during the pandemic. And he loves this program so much that he has become an official Ideal Protein spokesperson. Who else do we have? Well, you know what? Behind every great athlete, there's got to be a great coach. And today we have with us Susanna Smith of Best Way USA down in the Houston area in Texas. Susanna is Jesse's coach and has been an amazing part of his life. I can't wait to show you this coach-client relationship. Talk about two unlikely people to have met and create such an incredible bond like they've created. So let's stop talking, Doc, and let's bring them in. Where are they? I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to do this. I'll bring you. Hey. Oh, we've gone off the rails already. There we go. That's better. How are you guys?
Doing great, John. Glad to be here.
Doing good. Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. Like I said, ever since we talked about this, when we were in San Antonio together, we talked about the concept of doing the show. I've just been super excited about it.
Well, I'm glad it worked out, my friend, because this is fun.
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of fun during my pre-show antics and technical difficulties already, right? But we had a lot of fun when we were in San Antonio as well. I want to bring this up real quick just so that we can kind of share with everybody. This is what happens when you go to what we call an Ideal Protein Super Weekend. It's basically continuing education training for coaches and clinic owners. And we all get together and just kind of celebrate the same mission and vision that we're all on together. You get that many passionate people in one room, and it's absolutely electric. But then you add Jesse Barfield to that. San Antonio was crazy cool. Did you guys have as much fun as I did?
Oh my goodness, so much.
Great. I loved it. People were great. We just had a great time sharing what this is all about.
Very inspiring weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, I hope they do it again.
Well, you know what? We're going to put a plug into corporate to get those super weekends fired back up again.
That would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. We had so much fun. And we happened to be sitting at the tables right next to each other, right?
Yep.
And right before I came down to San Antonio, I had a client of mine who he came into my office and he said, "Hey, Doc, you've heard of a guy named Jesse Barfield?" And I said, "Well, funny you should ask. Yes, I have heard of a guy named Jesse Barfield, an amazing baseball player, and I'm looking forward to meeting him when I fly to San Antonio this weekend. Why do you bring it up?" And he said, "Well, I'm in his family now." He said, he married my cousin and we're family. And I was like, there's absolutely no way this is happening.
Yes, it did.
Right. And so then I think at that point he texted you and we sent a picture to you and you guys sent a picture to me.
Yep. To confirm
so that when
he was lying.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to get myself in too much trouble with AJ, but yeah, so that was really great. You and I connected the dots as soon as we were down there, and we had a fair amount of fun. And I love the fact that you enjoy, man, I tell you, that party that we had on Saturday night, and you were stuck in that photo booth all night long because everybody wanted to come and get their picture with you. And you were so gracious about the whole thing. It was really, really neat to see.
Thank you. I had a blast. I mean, I look at those photos often. It brings a smile to my face.
Yeah, well, and so then I want you to tell people, I'm pointing at that huge gold ring that was on your finger when we were taking that picture. Tell us about that ring and what it signifies.
Well, I actually won the Babe Ruth crown in 1986. It's now the Babe Ruth crown is actually they did away with it. It was only one given in all of baseball, and they replaced it with the Hank Aaron Award. Now it's one for the American League and National League. But the Babe Ruth crown, it's only one of those in all of baseball. So I was the top slugger in the majors that year. And yeah, it's pretty neat.
And actually, it's right above your head in the picture right now, isn't it?
It's right there. I mean, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, there it is right there. We're going to get a better look at that a little bit later in the show. That's absolutely amazing. And then, Susanna, I had so much fun meeting you and your husband, right?
Yep, it was a lot of fun. We just always see your podcast. We were excited to meet you too.
Absolutely.
Oh, it was so much fun. And you guys are such great people. And I think it's really, really neat that you guys, you own this clinic together, et cetera. But it was kind of funny. This is one of my favorite pictures from Super Weekend, actually. And this is me and Susanna's husband. This is me and Susanna's husband, Heinrich. And we're in the back of the room on Sunday morning. I have to speak. I'm the keynote speaker at the end of this thing. And let's just say it had been a long night. And then this is me realizing that I wore the same outfit as Heinrich.
Wow.
And Susanna caught that for posterity. I bet
you Susanna saw that. And
I love
him Maybe we got to cut your sleeve so it won't look that much alike.
Well,
Oh
I
my
have a
God.
different story about that picture. My husband asked John to coach him, and I was like, John was probably thinking, "Oh no, this is not happening."
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I love Henry.
Oh my gosh. Yes, he's a really great guy. And I've enjoyed my time with Heinrich. We've got some work to do with that guy, but I can't wait. I can't wait to see. He's going to start setting some running records pretty soon.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. All right. So enough fun, you guys. Let's get to the real deal. So I tell you what, Jesse, I would love to share with some of the people. Number one, I want to start off with this award because I think it's probably the ultimate. It was just announced recently that you've been voted to the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. So you are now Hall of Famer Jesse Barfield. Can you talk to us a little bit about when you found this out, how the vote was cast, you found out that you'd been voted in, and what that's like as a major leaguer?
Well, it was one of the biggest thrills of my life. And, I thought I had a chance, but it never happened. And years went by, and, I thought, well, maybe I didn't do enough. But I got the call this year, and I was actually thrilled. I was surprised. And it was a great phone call that morning. I'll never forget it.
And so when is the induction ceremony?
June 17th.
Okay, I'll mark it out in my calendar. Susanna, you get your tickets already?
So I'll make sure you guys get the link so you can see it.
Oh, we would love that.
100%. Yeah, that's going to be so amazing to watch.
And
So
I'll share some of my stories as well. So you'll get to hear some of them firsthand today.
oh yeah, please. We want to get into some of that really great stuff. You sent me this picture, and again over Christmas, AJ sent me a picture of him in this. I can't believe you let him in this room.
He doesn't know that I have hidden cameras everywhere. So if he's trying to
well, and you've got sensors on a lot of those bats and a lot of that memorabilia in there. I can't even imagine the neat stories about all those different bats and gloves, and there's some basketballs in there too. What's that all about?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it. Akeem Olajuwon and all those guys that came through Houston, all the great Hall of Famers. My wife Marla actually went to school with Akeem, so I got to meet him years ago and at U of H. And what a great basketball player he was, and a great ambassador for the game as well.
Oh, seriously. Of course she did. This family, the stories I hear, they're so connected.
They really are. I mean, it's amazing the people we've come across, and Akeem was one of them as well.
So how many bats would you say that you actually have in that room? Do you know?
It's probably 75 to 80 bats in that room.
Wow.
2 years on each side. They're all Hall of Famers and All-Stars, so it's pretty neat. And sometimes the kids will come over with their families and that's so-and-so's bat. Oh, that's George Brett's bat with the pine tar. This is this guy's bat. And oh my God. So I said, yeah, you want to grab it? So they'll take it off. And one kid grabbed the bat, and he was so excited. He grabbed it and he put his hand around the autograph. And I went, okay, let me have that bat. Let me show you how to do it. Because that's a special bat. And you don't want grease or anything, dirt or anything on that autograph, because if it fades, that's not
right.
So I showed him how to take it off and how to hold it. He said, man, I am so sorry. I said, no harm, no foul. You mess it up, I'll get another one anyway. But that's a game-used bat.
Oh, my God. So here, I love this that you put this stuff on the table and took a picture of it for us. So there's the crown right in front, right?
That's the Babe Ruth
Here,
crown.
let me see. I'll get that off of there so you can see. There's the crown.
Yes. That's the Babe Ruth crown, and it was for a photo shoot. And there's the Silver Slugger in the back, and the Gold Gloves, and Player of the Year awards, and it's really a neat photo shoot.
Oh my gosh, absolutely amazing.
And that's another one with some plaques. I was the Blue Jays Rookie of the Year. and then Player of the Year in Rookie of the Year 82 for them, and then 85 and 86 I was Player of the Year for the Blue Jays.
Yes, you were. Oh my God, those statistics were amazing. And then that big cabinet, that's where the Gold Gloves sit up there at the top, which is
I'm actually looking at them now, and the cabinet and all, that's where they're housed when I'm sitting here in the trophy room.
So answer me this, Jesse. We happen to be season ticket holders for the Washington Nationals, and in the upper level, in the club level, they've got an incredible display from when they won the World Series a few years ago. And they also have, it seems to me like they've got replicas, because I'm sure they don't have the actuals, of Gold Gloves that players have won, or Silver Sluggers, like Bryce Harper has some Silver Sluggers up there. And there's a couple of different Gold Gloves up there. Does the team get a replica if their player wins that award? Is that what happens?
Well, to go in their showcases and what have you, yes, you can get that. They're hard to get. They're very strict with that. So yeah, the teams can get it, and certain people can get it, and that's it.
Okay, yeah, because I couldn't imagine that those were the actual trophies. They had to have been replicas that the team gets to actually showcase.
Absolutely.
So you sent me all these really great pictures, and I'm so excited. And I'm not going to tell our viewing audience that you did it 10 minutes before we went on air. Tell us about the Killer Bees, because now once this came across, I remember the Killer Bees. I was like, oh my God, this is bringing back memories for me.
Yeah, we were part of that great team we had in Toronto in the mid 80s. And we won our first division title that year. We won 99 games. And we lost in the first. They didn't have all the rounds like they have the division races and the pennant race and all that. You win a division or you don't. There's no wild card. And we won it on the last day. We beat the Yankees out. And we lost to the Kansas City Royals in Game 7 to go to the World Series. And Royals came back from a 3-game deficit, and they were down 3-1 against the St. Louis Cardinals and beat them as well. It was their year. But the Killer Bees, we were the first original Killer Bees, and we got Mosby and Barfield. So yeah, that was a lot of fun playing with those guys.
I love that. Yeah. So George Brett was on that Royals team, right?
Yeah, I see him every now and then in airports, and we became best friends since we played together and against each other, actually All-Star once with him. But I tease him. I say, hey, you still have our ring? And he'll go, yep, still got it.
Oh, that's really cool. So unfortunately, Jesse, I can remember watching those series. My mom was a huge George Brett fan. And, so I can remember her jumping up and down, screaming for him. Back watching those series. That would make total sense in the mid 80s there.
Yeah, I got a funny story about my wife, Marla. She was talking to George Brett after a game during the playoffs in 85, and she didn't realize it was George Brett. And and this guy was MVP of everything that year.
Right?
She got on the bus, and the wives and everybody were like, hey, why are you talking to George Brett? This guy killed us today. And that was George Brett. He's such a nice guy. He's the main reason why we didn't win it.
Right?
She's a people person. She's always been that way.
I was just going to say, leave it to Marla from how many times I've met her on the phone and now pre-game as we were getting ready for this. Tell you what, let's bring up a little family picture.
Absolutely, and that's.
Tell us about this picture.
Yeah, that we're at the Minute Maid Park, and my son Josh was actually he's front office with the Arizona Diamondbacks, so he was here, and we definitely wanted to be here to be with him as well because his schedule is crazy and tight, and so we went to the Girls game when they played the Arizona Diamondbacks, and family affair.
That's awesome. That is awesome, and yes, as we've heard, Marla is a saint. We're going to talk about St. Marla a little bit later on. So, Jesse, I wanted to ask, you told me a story. This was the coolest part about being down in San Antonio. And, You told me the story actually during that Saturday evening when we were hanging out together. You told me a story that happened in Comiskey Park where you were there and you told somebody that you planned on playing in that field and being a professional baseball player. Can you tell our viewers that story? Because it's still going to give me goosebumps.
Well, growing up in the Chicago area, Joliet, Illinois, I was more or less a Cubs and a White Sox fan. They said you can't be both. You got to be one or the other. Listen, I didn't care. I had heroes on both teams, and but as a kid, we'd go to Comiskey Park with our Joliet Boys Club and the big band, and our seats were in left. We'd hang out in left field for batting practice to get home run balls or what have you. But when the game we had to shift back in the upper deck in the right field bleachers, the right field upper deck there, and I'm sitting there with my buddies and I looked out over the field and I said, hey man, one day, man, I'm gonna be playing right out there. And they looked at each other like, man, this guy's crazy. Are you kidding me? And my buddy sitting to my right, Don, said, man, don't listen to those guys. You can do whatever you want. I said, Don, I'm telling you, one day I'm going to be playing right out there. You watch. And 4 years later, I got drafted out of high school. You never know if you're going to get drafted or not. You hear rumors and what have you. This team likes you, that team. I didn't care about that. I was going to go to college, and I was happy with that. And then I got a call 4 years later. The Toronto Blue Jays drafted me in the 9th round, 233rd overall. And 5 years later, I'm in AA Knoxville, Tennessee, Knoxville Blue Jays, and the September call-up. I didn't realize I was going to get a September call-up because they had the strike that year, and they weren't going to call anybody up from what I heard, so I'll get my shot sooner or later. I'm not worried about it. And I go to the ballpark, and I get called in the office. The manager wants to talk to me. So I'm sitting there, and he goes, hey, man, I want to congratulate you. You get called up to the show. I thought he was joking. I said, excuse me? He said, you're getting called up to the big leagues. You're going to be playing right field for the Toronto Blue Jays tomorrow night. I said, man, that's freaking me out. I said, where are they right now? He goes, well, they're in Arlington. I said, good. My mom can drive up from Houston. No. They're going to finish up a series in Arlington. You're going to fly to Chicago from Knoxville, Tennessee. They're going to meet you there. You're playing right field at Comiskey Park tomorrow night. I said, no way. And I thought about the time where I told my buddies, I'm going to be playing right out there one day. You just watch. My first game was right out there.
Amazing.
Oh my God. That is something, again, a lot of times I see in my life that God orchestrates things and you look back on it and you just say to yourself, there's no way this happened by chance, right?
I totally agree.
When you told me that story, that was one of those situations that couldn't have been better orchestrated.
You're absolutely right, John. I mean, I remember as a kid going to Comiskey Park several times. I remember walking in. I remember the sounds, the organ sounds. I remember even the smells of that ballpark. And when I played there, it always brought back great memories. And fortunately for me, I played well there in front of my home crowd. And I remember the game started. And before the game started, I'm out there after I hit. I'm out there in right field, and I'm taking my ground balls and fly balls, working on my footwork stuff before the game started. And they had big signs out in the right field upper deck where my buddies used to sit. Me and my buddies used to sit, and they had the signs, Joliet Jesse, congratulations, we're here from the boys club, and we're here to root you on. I'm like, wow, man, I used to be one of those kids that kind of freaked out.
Oh my God.
The game starts. And my first at bat, I hit a ball in the hole. I'm thinking, oh man, I got my base hit on the first. This guy went in the hole. Greg Ullman picked it, threw across his body, got me by an eyelash, and I could run back then. And so I'm out. So I come back to the dugout, put my helmet down real nice. You're a rookie. Put your helmet down real nice. And I told one of my buddies, I said, man, that was a hit in AA a couple of nights ago.
I was just going to say.
Right. Big John Mayberry heard me. He goes, hey, young blood, this is not AA. We make this play up here every night. I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I picked that bat My next at bat, I said, I'm not going to hit the ball that way again. So I'm closing up a little bit. I'm going to hit the ball the other way. Base hit, drove in George Bell. I stole second. Someone drove me in. And I went on to hit safely in my first 8 games to start my career. And 2 days later, I hit my first home run in front of my home crowd. Big John Mayberry, not too long ago, reminded me that he said, man, when you hit that home run, we looked up in the stands and all your people were jumping up like Jack in the Boxes. So yeah, that was kind of neat.
Oh my God! Like I'm trying to picture the whole thing right now too. That is so absolutely amazing. One of the things that you did send over, and I was hoping I was going to be able to pull this off. I wanted to show a highlight. So many pictures that I've seen of you and so many references to you is for your hitting, but good Lord, man, you had a cannon of an arm.
Thank you.
Oh my God. I want to bring this. We've got video. This show is chock full of video highlights, ladies and gentlemen. Let's pull this video up.
His major league leading 19th assist. All of a sudden, it was tough to see Presley getting the base hit. Then you realize that Jesse Barfield had moved into center field because Roberto Kelly was a late scratch in the Yankee lineup. And he puts one on the money as Bob Guerin went out to get it. See Guerin going out to get it, realizing he had time to come back and put a tag on Jeffrey Leonard. Jeffrey Leonard's lead leg was nowhere near the plate. A bad slide by Leonard. If it was a good slide, he may get that foot on the plate and beat the throw. Sure.
The next thing you know, Chili Davis is tagged out. Not Chili, that was actually Jeffrey Leonard was tagged out at home plate. And I think that was my 19th assist that year, which led the majors again.
That was unbelievable. And I love the fact that the announcers talked about that you weren't supposed to be in center field at the time, right?
Yeah, Roberto Kelly was actually, he had a stomach flu. So he came straight to me. I said, hey, you okay? He said, no, I don't think I'll be able to go today. You might want to take your practice in center field today before the game. I said, no problem. Manager came and told me, hey, I need you in center, big guy. No problem. I got drafted as center fielder. I played center every now and then. So it worked out good.
Yeah. And so again, 1985, you reached 20, 20, and 20, which is a huge milestone. And when we talk about 20 outfield assists, right?
Yes.
That's what that means. It means throwing it in from the outfield directly to get the out, correct?
Yeah, absolutely correct. And, you look at some of the great outfielders today, Aaron Judge and Mookie Betts and all those guys have a chance I'm the only guy to do that in 100 years in the American League. So if anybody can break that record, it'll be one of those guys. I think the biggest one of those will be the 20 outfield assists, because you don't have a combination of speed, power, and arm like that in baseball that often. And if they can stay healthy, those guys could possibly do that. That's why that was quite a feat. I didn't even realize I did that until a writer came up and told me.
Wow. Yeah. All right. You know what? I tell you what, Susanna, it's about time we gave you some airtime.
Absolutely.
Susanna, let's shift gears a little bit. And what I want to hear from you, what our listeners and viewers want to hear and see from you is talk about how you became an Ideal Protein coach and clinic owner. What's your story?
Well, actually, it was close to where you live, John. In 2007, I was a registered nurse in Annapolis, Maryland.
Oh, wow.
I worked in Anne Arundel Medical Center.
Yep.
And one of my nurse friends, she started to lose weight, and then she told other friends, come lose weight with me. And I just saw the weight melt off these nurses. And I'm like, guys, what are you doing? Because I want to do it. So this nurse friend said another nurse friend opened a clinic, and that was Ideal Protein. And the clinic's name was A Better Way. I think it's Catonsville where it was. But I went and I started the program, and I lost 30 pounds back then. But then we moved to Texas in 2010. And I always thought, what a fun job to help other people like that.
Right.
When I came to Texas, obviously it was a stressful move. My kids had to go to high school, figure out things in Houston. So I'm like, okay, the only thing who worked for me is Ideal Protein. So I started to look for a clinic in this area, which I found a clinic, but I just didn't feel like that's what I wanted in a clinic. So I'm like, what if I open my own one and I try to offer what I want in a clinic?
Yeah.
So I was fairly new and didn't know a lot of people. So it was just a thought. And then in 2000, and that was 8 years ago. What was that? 2000, and just before I met Jesse, actually, 15, 16, the end. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna open a clinic. So it was really just a step out of faith, and just I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that worked out well. God provided and got clients, and it was word of mouth. And I love what I'm doing, and I'm just keep on doing it. I just knew this is a program. When you do it, it works. That's how much I believe in it.
Yeah, and again, being a registered nurse, right, and having the science and background and understanding in human physiology, you understand exactly more than most people why the Ideal Protein program works, right?
Yes, and that was also my challenge with Jesse with all his muscle, right? But yes, I understand that. I could explain it. My issue in a hospital is always the doctors explain things on a level patients don't understand.
Correct.
But from a nurse's point, you know the science, but you can also explain it in simple terms so that the patients or clients understand, oh, that's how it's working. And then they just get it,
Yeah. No, that's so amazing. And again, you and I candidly shared a little bit when we were talking without Jesse, how you weren't necessarily a baseball girl. I mean, you weren't a baseball fan, etc. But yet you have these retired professional baseball players knocking on your door.
Yes, so I grew up in South Africa, born and raised, moved to New Zealand, and came 98 to America. So not in my wildest dreams ever I would thought that God will send this amazing baseball players to me. I grew up with cricket and rugby. That's the international sports in Europe and South Africa. So when the first baseball player contacted me, I literally had to Google who is that person, and I found out, oh my goodness, it's famous people, and I felt really privileged. and Jesse is so patient with me. He showed me video clips. He explained to me. And sometimes I still have to say, what a privilege to sit with these guys and help them. I'm this small, I feel like small town girl from a third world country coming in help these professional baseball players. So for me, it's a huge honor to help them. Yeah, but that's it.
Oh my God! Again, it's such an amazing story, like you said.
It really
so
is.
unlikely that
the gentleman she was talking about is Mike Jackson. He's the guy that introduced me to Susanna, and Mike is my children's godfather. And with Marlon and I, his children's godparents. Mike and his wife are our children's godparents. So the circle continues.
Yep.
Well,
it's word of mouth and referral, and that's how you spread the good news.
And I tell you something else too. Mike Jackson has done a tremendous job of keeping the weight off. Every time you see him, he looks fantastic.
So he's just a little more coachable than you, Jesse? Is that
yes, sir. Yes, sir. 100%.
Maybe he had less 100%. Stress than Jesse. I have to vouch for Jesse. He went through surgeries and a lot of stress, and that's why he gained some of his weight back. But he also knew how to get it off. He came back and lost 50 pounds.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, Jesse, that was a great segue, and this is why you did color commentary, et cetera. That was a great segue into your story, and tell us about your buddy Mike. You met up with him. You're kind of like, wait, what are you doing, dude? And how did that lead you to Ideal Protein and to Susanna?
Well, he called me up one morning and said, "Hey, man, I hadn't seen you, brother. I want to come by and have a cup of coffee with you, catch up." So yeah, he comes by and he walks in, and man, I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm on this program called Ideal Protein. It's a great program, especially for athletes and yada yada. He has muscle too." And so I said, "Are you kidding?" So he introduced me to Susanna, and that's how we met, and the rest was history.
Well, and I want to, you hit the nail on the head. You're just making the show. You're working it for me here. I love the fact that Mike told you that it's a great program especially for athletes. And in my mind, for men, I think that there's so many men that aren't necessarily looking or willing to do a program that need one. And this is just such an amazing way for guys to lose the weight they need to lose, but spare that precious muscle, right?
Absolutely. And for some reason, people think you lose muscle too, but that has not been the case. And I'm dropping the fat, but the muscle's still there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Susanna,
I do like to mention Dr. Tran, and I like to mention it to my patients, clients too, is Dr. Tran, when he started this program, it was for Olympic athletes to lose a quick 5 or 10 pounds and not losing muscle.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the deal that gets lost a lot of times, is the fact that Dr. Tran created this for the French Olympic team because they came to him trying to just improve their athletes' performance ever so much.
Yes.
And then when he started applying it to his patients in his regular practice, not only did they lose weight, but he saw their metabolic health return. He saw their blood pressure come down. He saw their cholesterol numbers get in line. He saw their blood sugars and A1C get back to where it's supposed to be. And it was an amazing thing. So, and Jesse, have you had any experience in your personal journey with anything besides weight? Has it improved your health at all?
Oh my God. The last time when I lost the 70 plus pounds, I completely got off of blood pressure medicine. Didn't need it. And my blood pressure is actually, the last reading we did last week, it was going down again. So I'm starting to feel the rest of the fat fall off. And before long, I think I'm going to be able to wean off of that again.
Yeah. And interesting enough, too, as we're going through this story, to hear that somebody of your athletic caliber got to a point where he was 70 pounds overweight and on blood pressure meds.
Oh yeah, I mean that's not uncommon, John. It happens a lot. A lot of guys that I talk to, and some athletes as well. I've shared my story, and these guys are very interested in getting on the program as well. And to me, I can actually tell you it's added years to my life. I feel a whole lot better. I'm able to do things with my grandbabies that I couldn't do. They like to get down on the floor and do some things, and
right,
and all that. And they want to go some places. They want to go to the park, and they want to throw some baseballs. And it's about them right now. And Ideal Protein gave me that back.
So thank you so much for allowing Susanna to share these pictures with us.
Absolutely.
This is that original before and after picture.
Yes. Well, 70 pounds later, man, that's crazy. I mean, I'm very proud of that.
Yes, as well you should be. Let's see if I got that. Oh yeah, there we go. We got the profile.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. It makes such an amazing difference.
It does. I mean, I'm a lot more mobile. I've had, like Susanna was saying earlier, I've had a few surgeries in the hips, knees, and with that extra weight, of course, it's almost like carrying extra dumbbells around all day. Your joints are going to suffer.
Right.
Is.
Right.
So this has made a huge difference in my joints.
Absolutely. So as part of this program, when we're eating the meals, right? We're eating 4 meals a day. We're using ideal protein for breakfast. We're using ideal protein with 2 cups of vegetables for lunch. We've got a snack as an ideal protein food. And if you've got more muscle mass, maybe we're using some extra protein. And Susanna, I would like for you to now kind of help us out a little bit as far as when you have an athlete like Jesse come in with a fair amount of muscle on his body, he's probably not going to eat the same as a smaller client that might come in. Can you address how you kind of approach that with him?
Well, first of all, JC's BMR is 2,215, which is a lot. But that's
and let's call time out here so that again our listeners and viewers can understand BMR. Okay. Basal metabolic rate, or BMR, the way I like to describe it to my patients is, it's how many calories your body's going to burn in a 24-hour period of time just to keep you alive. Okay. I call it your Netflix number. So if you were to wake up and just binge watch Netflix all day and not get out of bed, that's how many calories your body starts off burning. 2,200 calories, right?
Yeah.
And so he doesn't have a V8 engine in there. He's got a V12 engine in there. Right? But I think this is a super important thing for people to grasp, though. Mm-hmm. It's not calories in, calories out, right? Yeah. Weight gain and weight loss does not happen as simplistically as that. This body is so much more intricate than that. It's your body's hormonal response to the foods that you're eating. And that's what creates a situation in a body that burns 2,200 calories a day to stay alive, much less than get up and do all your daily activities, right? But that's what causes that body to store fat, right? And so that's the thing. You have somebody who's got this huge metabolism, but yet they're still storing body fat. Mm-hmm. And that's the genius and the beauty of this protocol, how it shifts your metabolism back into fat burning mode. It makes use of that hormonal response to food to tap into that incredible metabolism and just burn that fat right off. Right?
Yep.
Look, the phones are ringing off the hook right now. Hello?
That's AJ.
So yeah, Susanna, can you take us through that then? How much more protein does this guy require as part of the protocol?
So you know how we normally tell people in that first week we're just gonna do 4 ideal proteins, which each ideal protein is about 18 grams. So 3 or 4, but for Jesse, we decided let's see how you do with 5, and if you absolutely have to, sometimes you had to do 6, because remember in our ideal protein there wasn't really a program. They said you cannot exercise, but yes. Jesse, on top of Jesse with his 107 pounds of muscle, that's how much muscle he had in his body. He's also very active. He's a coach. How many hours a day do you still coach actively, Jesse? So we still have to keep that coaching and exercise in mind. He cannot stop coaching. This is his job,
Yes.
So we said, let's start with 5. If you absolutely have to, we're gonna do 6. And it was also the time before we had the BCAAs, the amino acids.
Yes.
So we had to keep that in mind. But we did give Jesse like the peach mango or the blueberry, which is a low-calorie shake. Now, when Jesse came in the first week, he lost like 14 or 15 pounds in 1 week.
Wow. It's crazy.
Right.
But he maintained his muscle, which was amazing. So then we kind of knew, okay, we kind of have it right, how many protein or how much protein we're going to give him. Back then, it was also the 8 ounce of protein still in America. So he did enjoy his 8 ounce. And then if he was still hungry, sometimes we did say, okay, have an extra boiled egg, because obviously you have the muscle You have the BMR. It's not gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
So after that first week and the 5-6 idle proteins, Jesse lost like 4-5 pounds a week. I said,
Yeah.
Jesse, this program is made for you.
No doubt.
That's how we felt.
No doubt about it.
Yes, but what we did the weekly in body composition.
Yep.
We looked at it every week. We did every week blood pressure because Jesse was also on blood pressure medication. And because he was dropping his weight so quickly, his blood pressure dropped quickly. In my clinic, I see about every 20 pounds. That's when you get a significant drop in blood pressure. And I say, Jesse, it's possible that we can get you off your blood pressure medicine. And he was so excited about that. So what we did is if we got 4 good blood pressures, we sent the doctor a report and said, hey, Jesse started to experience some symptoms. Can we lower the blood pressure medication? And then they would lower it. Were you on 2 blood pressure medications back then, Jesse?
It was actually 1. And then my doctor agreed to do half.
Half. Okay.
And we weaned completely off.
Yeah. So then he said half. So I said, okay, let's see how we do with the half. We continued to do blood pressure, continued to maintain his muscle. He continued to lose the weight. And then when we got another 4 good blood pressures and then Jesse have symptoms, he got completely off. But during the whole journey, he never lost any muscle. In fact, when he was done and we bring back carbohydrates, he got a little bit more muscle.
There we go.
But
All right.
I have to say, sometimes Jesse will eat a little bit too much idle protein because he likes them so much. Then I say, Jesse, how many idle proteins each you today? And Jesse will give this naughty smile and he say, so many is too much. And I'm like, back off a little bit.
That's right. Well, she'll keep me on track, that's for sure.
I'm sure she will. You
She's
know,
right I trust her.
And it's funny just knowing Jesse for as short a period of time as I do. You know, I actually believe that it takes more than one person to actually keep you in line. And especially in a program like this where there's so much cooking and, you know, with 4 cups of vegetables a day and the whole protein that we're going to eat at dinner time. I want to throw this picture up here. Wow. And Jesse, can you talk to us a bit about this picture here and this incredible woman?
Yeah, that's my beautiful wife, Marla. We've been married over 40 years now. And
that's awesome.
Just last night, I come home and she had just completed 30 meals. She does them a month at a time. And the meal prep has been a great, I couldn't have done it without Susanna. I could not have done it without Marla and Ido Protein, man. I am so grateful and thankful for what they provided for me, you know, and Marla keeps me on task as well. And I'm very grateful for that.
So yeah, that was a funny story. I had my client AJ here in the office, and he says, "Oh my God, I was just down there visiting Jesse over Christmas. You can't even believe what Marla does for him and the way that she makes his meals and puts them in the containers." And he showed me a picture, stacks of containers in the fridge, and the food looks amazing. I'm so hungry right now.
Well, her grandfather was a master chef, and he cooked for the governor. Really, he cooked for the governor in the governor's mansion in Austin, and he was the main guy. And you know, she got that gift. She knows what she's doing.
100%. And we did, as we were talking pregame today, I think we came up with another business, you know, for Ideal Protein Meals by Marla. You know, if we can convince her, I'll be a shareholder for sure.
I'll tell you what, I know she does not like to be in the kitchen too long. She did a great job yesterday, but she's quite a cook, that's for sure.
So one of the things I want to segue next into, you know, having this coach and client relationship. I'm sure that Susanna learns a lot from you just as much as you learn from Susanna. One of the things that I was impressed with, and you told me this when we were in San Antonio, and I would love for you to expound upon this for our listeners and viewers, because it might really be helpful for them in their ideal protein journey. Can you explain to people what you call the 4 Ds? I call them Jesse's 4 Ds.
Absolutely. I mean, it works in everything in life. I mean, from baseball to ideal protein to everyday life. And the 4 Ds for me are simply discipline. You got to have discipline no matter what you do. Dedication. I mean, my God. Determination and making the right decisions. If you can follow those 4 principles, you're way ahead of the game, because I always tell people that there's nothing wrong with inspiration, but you better have some information. And what we're sharing today and the things I've learned going through Ideal Protein in this program, it helped me tremendously on my daily walk, because you have to be disciplined. You have to have the right determination, decision making, and all those 4 Ds work hand in hand together.
Yeah, absolutely. And Susanna, you've seen him be able to apply that practically as he's been going through the program. Susanna, you have a story that you were talking to Jesse about, and I thought this was really cute too, the way that that Jesse put this for you and put it into perspective. Tell us a little bit about Susanna. Does practice make perfect?
That's what I used to tell my kids, until one day Jesse came in, and he can tell that. But he come in and I say, Jesse, practice make perfect. And then he can tell you what he told me. And I'm like, wow, you are right. Jesse, you want to tell?
I would always tell the kids. I said, one of these don't belong. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes permanent. Perfect practice makes perfect. And they think about it for a second. Oh, I get it now. Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect, but practice does make permanent. So you hear that all the time. People say, oh, practice makes perfect. You're practicing the wrong thing. You're putting the wrong things in your body. It's not going to turn out good.
Absolutely. And we can apply that to nutrition, right?
Absolutely.
Practicing perfect nutrition, right? Absolutely. Oh, I love this. So I actually got some more video, and I want to show some of this video. We had talked a little bit earlier about the fact that working out has been very important to you, Jesse,
yes.
and that has been a part of your ideal protein journey, right?
That is correct. And
I think that this show is kind of also going to hopefully spearhead the movement that's going on now in ideal protein. The science has kind of caught up with the protocol, and things that we feared before about combining exercise with the phase 1 weight loss protocol, et cetera. A lot of that stuff is being dispelled. And, clients like you have proven to us that that's not the case, that, we can adapt this protocol so that you can exercise the way that you'd like to. I'm going to segue to a video of just what kind of exercise Jesse likes to do.
Get it, baby.
as she records me.
Holy heck, look at you pumping that iron.
Yeah,
like I said, I think the best part of that video for me was seeing Marla on the treadmill with her phone up, actually recording you while you were doing that.
Yes, sir.
And she was cracking the whip too. Go get it, baby.
She's from a military family, military background, and she doesn't play.
How did AJ ever get in the military is what I don't know. Okay. So, you know what? Your experience with this program, your experience with Susanna and Heinrich and their clinic, et cetera, has really caused you to embrace the passion, mission, and vision of Ideal Protein, hasn't it, Jesse?
It has. I mean, it's changed my life. it gave me my life back, actually. Being in Major League Baseball for all those years and being a professional baseball player, I mean, you're in a routine, you work out on a daily basis, you're burning tremendous amount of calories. And then all of a sudden, when you retire from playing, you're not doing anything. You're not in the gym like you used to. And those pounds just come back with a vengeance. And they come on you like, where'd that come from? And, when I came across Ideal Protein, it really put me back in the game, physically and mentally.
So much so that when Ideal Protein approached you about being an official spokesperson, this seems like this was just a perfect combination, a perfect marriage.
It really was. And several years ago, I was in Canada during a promotion, and I'm driving by and with Paul Cartwright, my Canadian agent up there, and I saw the Ideal Protein logo, and I said, "Whoa, Paul, that's Ideal Protein." He goes, "Yeah, I know that they're a Canadian company." I said, "No way! Is you?"
Yeah.
I'm on the program, and listen, we got to get in touch with these guys. So he said, "I'll be glad to do that for you." He called me back later and said they were not interested. That was the first people there. I'm like, well, I was shocked. A few years went by, and I said, you know what? I feel, Paul, let's try it again. Well, by then they had a completely different front office, and he called me right back and said they would love to do something with you, and that's how the program was introduced to me, and me being an ambassador for the program.
Yeah, no, it's so cool. We started seeing your social media posts come across, and clinic owners and coaches across the North America very excited when you came on board. I love these pictures. I got to say, there's that one picture where you're pointing to the salted caramel clusters, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love those. I mean, it's not a whole lot I don't like about Ideal Protein. I like a lot of them.
Right. That must be second place to the crispy squares, right?
Crispy squares and the chocolate balls.
Oh yeah.
But you also notice in that picture he's doing the pose like look at the guns kind of, this is this way to the gun show, right?
That wasn't
I love that. I know it just comes naturally to you, right? Hey, and I'm going to throw some kudos to Allie at Ideal Protein. I want to show a couple of videos that you've put up. Allie was able to get these to me at the last second so I could have them on the show. Let's check this one out.
Working out is very important to me. I like to get up in the morning and start my day with a bowl of maple oatmeal. The easy thing about this is just pour it in a bowl, add hot water, it's ready to roll. I like taking it on the road with me as well because I can stay on protocol and do the things I need to do to stay fit. Have a great day.
Just put it in a bowl and it's ready to roll. Huh?
It really is. I mean, you eat the sheet. Basically, you eat the sheet. And it's great because you take it on the road with you, and you can get hot water anywhere. Whip it in the bowl and whip it up, and you have your breakfast. It keeps you on task. You don't have to go downstairs and eat the food that they have there. You can eat your own.
Absolutely. I got another one for us. Let's watch this one.
Being a former Major League Baseball player, working out has been very important for me. And after I got a little older, I had to change my routine up just a little bit. The amino acids that I take help me recover, and that's a big part of my success as well.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. The amino acids are a big plus, and that's something that Susanna would remind me, hey, Jesse, you need to make sure you get your BCAAs in, and those amino acids make a huge difference. When I'm working out, I like to have some. The flavor's great. It replenishes the body, and even after the workout, I mean, I'm not as sore. The next day, I can get my workout in, and I feel a whole lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. The BCAAs have been a really, really great introduction into the whole program. The best, it's the number one bodybuilding supplement on the market, actually. And to incorporate it into this program for people who are exercising during phase 1 is amazing, because it does give you the very specific amino acids for muscle without the extra carbs or calories or any of the other extra stuff.
And that's what I love about it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
Susanna, I want to give you, so kind of to wrap this show up, I think we've done really well, and we've kind of kept it to the hour that I like to keep it to. I'd like for you to kind of just talk a little bit more about your relationship with Jesse. Again, I kind of feel like you're not just coach and client. You guys really are great friends, and you
Yes.
seem like family in San Antonio.
Yes, we became really like family. I think what's important with any weight loss journey is sometimes when people gain the weight back, they feel guilty and they don't want to come back to a clinic to say, hey, here I am again. I have to lose another 20 or 50 or whatever. So that's important, so that you never judge someone with what they're going through, but say, hey, I'm here to help you.
That's right.
So when sometimes Jesse don't need me, sometimes he's on maintenance, and he will say, hey, Susanna, I'll be back sometime, but I'm okay for now. But we have that kind of open relationship that Jesse knows he can come back anytime. He can text, he can call, he can say, hey, I need you. But yes, if you come to the clinic, for me, it's almost like we don't talk just about the program. We talk about deep stuff, because it's the deep stuff behind the scenes what make people gain weight. The hurts, the hang-ups, the pain. Maybe
right.
it's things that make you happy. So it's almost like it's a little counseling session. I'm going to see my coach, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. And I think Jesse will walk in, hey, sister, how are you? And I'm like,
Right.
hey, brother, how are you? We will hug each other. We just have that special relationship. But if Jesse is in a good place and he don't need me, I don't feel offended or anything. He knows where to find me if he needs me.
Absolutely.
And then the same with Marla. It's amazing if the whole family become part of this. Marla comes with Jesse to some of his appointments because she's the one that's behind him, that really helps him to be successful.
Yes.
So she will come, or she will sometimes ask questions about the program. And I think if you have your family support and the family knows me and they trust their special person with me, that's a big thing. But I think we became good friends. And so 2016, that's 4, 5, 6, 7 years?
7 years now.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So glad I met you.
Yeah, so we really feel like family.
Absolutely right.
So Jesse, can you speak to the importance of having a coach in a program like this, and from your perspective, your relationship?
Absolutely. I mean, you tell people they don't care so much about what you know until they know that you care. And I feel that way with Susanna. She'll spend time with me talking about this and that and different aspects of life. And she'll say, Jesse, we need to pray. And I'll say, Susanna, I'll pray with you about that. And you need people like that in your life, because they'll give it to you straight, and they'll let you know when you get off kilter. I remember we had a player, one of my best friends in life, if not my best friend in baseball, Tony Fernandez, underneath the bleachers, past the bat rack. You had to squeeze through there, and it was just open space. And every now and then I'll see Tony, and he's looking a little stressed, and I'll go, hey, prayer closet, let's go. And this is like 20 minutes before we have to be on the field. We just squeeze through there and go underneath there and, pray for each other. And, hey, let's get out on the field and kick some butt.
Oh, that's such an amazing story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And every now and then people do the same. You go, let's go. I go, all right, let's go.
Well,
it's that way with me.
And I will share with our listeners and viewers that before we got on the air, and I think it was just because I was such a mess. Susanna suggested that we pray.
Absolutely.
and Jesse led us in prayer before we got on the air. And you know what? Again, I really feel like this is a special show, Jesse and Susanna. I think that this is going to touch a lot of people and help a lot of people consider starting their journey, and or helping them along the way if they're already in that journey. I appreciate your time, your effort, your energy, and your passion, both of you. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Well, from me and Jesse's side, we also want to thank you for hosting the show. You touch a lot of people, and we see that,
right.
and we appreciate that, John. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. As you see, it's an absolute passion for me. It's been the answer to my prayers, and I want to try to help answer somebody else's this way.
And I see it happening. Keep up the great work, my brother.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All right,
you
you guys hang out backstage real quick, and I'll come talk to you after I close up the show.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring this one in for a landing. What an amazing time I just had with Jesse and Susanna. I hope that you got some inspiration from them. And ladies, if there is a man in your life that needs to do the Ideal Protein program, but has been concerned that they're going to starve themselves to death, that they're going to lose their muscle mass, or that for some reason it's just not for them, I hope that you would expose them to this show and to Jesse's story, and show them that, wow, it's absolutely amazing what you can do, especially when you've got a fair amount of muscle inside that engine to drive your weight loss and restore that metabolic health. So yeah, we're going to wrap this one up. I'm going to say thank you again, everybody. Please like us, subscribe, share us on your social media feeds. The video is on Facebook and YouTube. The audio is anywhere where you can listen to and download podcasts like Apple, iTunes, Spotify, and all those. So until the next show, keep reaching for your life possible.